Hi, welcome to my homeschool channel, Caffeine and Lesson Plans. Today I'll be reviewing the Erin Condren Lesson Planner. This planner is actually created for classroom teachers, the way that it's set up, but with a few easy modifications. It works really well for the homeschool classroom. I was first introduced to Erin Condren by a friend. I purchased the Life Planner, which is just an individual day planner, and loved it so much that I decided to purchase the Lesson Planner for our homeschool year. This model is actually the 2014-2015 model, and right now this is 2015-2016 school year. I bought this in late spring of 2015 when it was on clearance, hefty clearance, because she was getting ready to bring out all of her new products for the fall. And the reason that it works is because you'll see when we get to the calendar part of the planner, they're not numbered. So no matter what edition you're using of the lesson planner, it'll work for whatever year you're in. So the first thing to know about the Erin Condren lesson planner is that the front and back covers are both removable. They are cut in a way that the covers will pop out and pop right back in. And this is so that if you decide in the middle of the school year that you are tired of looking at the pattern that you purchased and you want something different, you can go onto her website and buy a whole new front and back cover and switch them out. And it is super easy. Also, you can hear this laminate is super thick. This stuff is going to withstand most of what you throw at it, which is a really good thing for me because my 2-year-old likes to destroy everything. So I was very happy with how thick this was. Also, the coil is very heavy duty and very thick. So this thing is made to last. Even though it is a bit pricey, you get what you pay for. And so I'm very happy with this. So this is the quote that I chose for my planner. They come in all different patterns, quotes. You can have a picture of your family or whatever on here. You can personalize these in many different ways. So that's one thing that's super neat about them. So when I open my planner, the first thing on the page, it said this is my life, and I put my name and phone number here in case, I left it somewhere and a good Samaritan found it and returned it to me. So that's on that side. The next thing you would see when you open it is actually this kind of little title page. This little plastic zipper pocket actually is in the back when you first purchase it. I popped off the front and back covers and put it on the front because I keep things in it that I use, and for me it just worked out better to have it in the front. Like I had said earlier, the monthly calendars in the planner are not numbered, so you can either go in there and write them by hand, or you can use their monthly stickers, monthly dot stickers. When I bought this planner, I actually had to purchase these. I believe now they actually come with the planner. They're not a separate purchase. And so they're color coordinated, and it's kind of just a fun little thing to do. So that's where I keep those so that they're handy right there. Here's the title page. And then throughout all of Erin Condren's planners, whether they're the lesson planner, the life planner, notebooks, she's got a ton of stuff. There are all these awesome motivational quotes, and that was one of the things that made me fall in love with her planners. And the next page is the All About Me section. Right up here, it had a place for you to list your information. It had like school name, school phone number, address, email address, whatnot. So I just filled that out once again in case I put this down somewhere and forget it. Hopefully somebody would contact me so I could get it back. This section down here, it says access codes, usernames, and passwords. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be putting my online banking username and password. But you know how it is with almost anything on the online anymore. If it's a page that you interact with, they want you to go ahead and register and have a username and password. And so if it's not a privacy issue or a security issue, this is where I'll go ahead and list it. At the bottom, it also says web resources. This will be something I definitely utilize because I plan on using a lot of stuff from the internet, whether it's, you know, a YouTube video that we're using, or, you know, if we're using stuff off of Starfall or whatnot, ABC Mouse, all that stuff can go right here. So the next page is kind of where my modifications have set in. When I first got this, it said classroom events and volunteers. Well, I'm not going to need the volunteer part, so I used some fun little washi tape, covered that up, and just put friends. Because with homeschool, more often than not, you're going to come into contact with other parents that homeschool. You may have homeschool co-ops that you're a part of, and so this is a nice place to put down people's names and their phone numbers so that you don't lose those. At the bottom is a place for special events and field trips. We will definitely use this. This is one of the main reasons, well, maybe not the main reason, but it's a big reason why we chose to homeschool. I know that as a child, when I was in school, I went to public school and I loved it, but I loved, you know, the field trips that we used to take. And the sad thing, you know, about a lot of schools is that with budget cuts and things, the way that standards have been written and changed, field trips have gotten the boot in a lot of school systems. So we will definitely be using that section. This next section initially said helpful hints for the substitute. Unfortunately, I will not be using a substitute. That'd be nice, right? Well, not for me. So I put this down as helpful hints for Daddy. Daddy will not be necessarily teaching school, but he really likes to know what our schedule is. It helps him to feel a part of what we're doing when he's at work, if he knows, you know, what we're doing and at what time and those kind of things. And also it's helpful too, if he were to have a day off of work, he could know what hours we would be doing certain things so that, you know, if he had to do something, it wouldn't necessarily interfere with our school that day. Down here it says, it just has a little blurb about school schedule. This is initially what we're going to try this year. School begins at 9, recess at 11, which is recess or free time for the kids to kind of unwind and get their wiggles out. Lunch at 12, nap for my younger 2 at 1, and then there's a spot for school dismissed. This spot down here that I've covered up in washi tape used to say, it was like helpful people for the substitute. Something like that, where it had like principal information, vice principal, helpful teachers, helpful students. Obviously, I don't need that. So we just put kindergarten 2015 to 2016 so that, you know, if we want to come back and look at things, we know what year this was for. And down here, this had a spot for students with special needs. I don't need that spot, and so I covered that with washi as well, and have written school rules. This is something that me and my children will collaborate on when we start school to make up and write our school rules. So in her planner, another thing I love is there's all these wonderful, colorful, nice, heavy-duty tabs. And so the first tab says dates. And the first page, or the first spread on that tab, is holidays and dates to remember. The cool thing about this is it's not just like a regular planner. It doesn't just have our typical holidays. It has days like, let's see if we can see it a little bit better, United Nations Day, Stephen Kellogg's birthday, let's see, Fire Prevention Week, National Family Literacy Day, Jan Brett's birthday. So a lot of pretty neat dates that would have taken me forever to find and compile. They're all right here, easy for us to see and to incorporate within our curriculum during that month. So I'm really excited about that. So the next spread under dates is a happy birthday page. Obviously, if you were a classroom teacher, this is where you would label all of your students' birthdays. And I don't necessarily need to write down my kids' birthdays and just leave it at that. I know their birthdays. I've seen some other homeschool moms change this into a supply list. For me, though, I mean, this is a decent amount of space, but I would need more than just this little spot for an entire month of supplies. This is would probably do, it might fit me for 1 week. But we're doing kindergarten, and we've got a lot of manipulatives and things like that we use each and every week. And so what I decided to do is actually just keep this birthdays. And I'm not just putting my children's birthdays down, but I'm putting aunts and uncles and grandparents and cousins, all of our close family and friends. And so each month we will look at this and see whose birthday is when, and we will create birthday cards and mail those out. I thought that would be just a fun little thing to do with the kids. So our next tab says absent. Now these, I'll show you here, one of the pages I have not modified. This says, we missed you while you were away, absentee log. Well, obviously I can't use that. So I have changed this to a reading list. Up here I put title, date, thoughts. Actually, I'm going to change this to title, author, thoughts, and date. But I figured this would be a good way to keep track of all of the books that we've read through this year with our curriculum, so that if I need to, within the next couple years, go back and see if we've read something, I'll have all of this here to reference. And there's quite a few pages of these, so you definitely have room for your reading list. Our next tab is graph. This is kind of a neat little section. It's just like 5 spreads of graph paper. You could, if you were lucky enough to have your own homeschool room, you could kind of build a blueprint of how you would like to set it up. We have an office, but we don't have a homeschool room. We're actually just going to be doing school around the kitchen table. So for me, I don't need to worry about that. But this first page, what I've done is I started just kind of listing additions to my curriculum that I have seen other people do. It's not necessarily something we're going to implement this year, but this is a list that I can continue to add to throughout the year, so that when I start planning for first grade, I can go back and say, yes, we want to do homeschool, or we want to do foreign language with our homeschool, or maybe we want to wait, or, this is just something so that I don't forget those things. The next page that I've modified actually shows our curriculum that we're using this year. Once again, this is another great reference for me. I can go back, in 8 years and say, oh, this is what we did for kindergarten. Also, I have 3 children, so by the time I get to number 3, I may want to go back and look and say, okay, we did this, but maybe we didn't like this, maybe we didn't like the math, or maybe we didn't like the handwriting, and we want to change that. So this is going to be really helpful for me. All right, the next graph spread. On this page, all I've gotten so far is library info. This is a place where I'm going to put possibly like my library password and username, maybe my library card number. If we are members of more than one library organization, some cities I know will have multiple library, not just branches, but systems. And so we can list all that. And, at some point, I may use the other graph paper actually at the end of this section, but at some point I'm going to make a chart and have a place where I can list the books we've checked out, the date they were checked out, and the date that they need to be returned. And that way I can keep track of all that too, instead of forgetting and getting fined. So this part is where I've taken the time to write out our daily schedule. This is a very generic schedule. This is just from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and it's just blocked off in hours. This is our goal. I know that there are going to be many, many days that we don't hit this. But once again, this is helpful for me to see what our goal is, and it's also helpful for my husband to see, okay, I'm at work and it's 10 o'clock and they're doing school stuff. And so that's just in there for me and my reference. So we've got a couple more spreads of graph paper, and then we hit the next little tab, and it says Year Plan. And this is the Year at a Glance spread. I really like this because I like having the ability to say, okay, I really want to take a break in January, and I can write it down here. I don't have to worry about going ahead and planning it within our month. I can just list it here, and then when I get to January and start planning out our month, I can transpose all of those things that I've listed here into the month of January. And so this is kind of a neat and helpful little page. Okay, and so now we're actually getting into the month calendars. Each in the lesson planner, the calendar is actually just a full month view. It's not done individually by weeks like you would in like a day planner. Before each month, there's a page for notes, and then each month has a cute little decoration before it. My planner, another nice thing about the lesson planner, you can choose what month you want to start them in. So I chose August, so mine runs August to January. And we actually are starting school in September. So this is the note page right before September. This is the cute little design. And then this is what a month spread looks like. And you can see I've already put my dots on September. And what I'm going to be using this for is mainly for homework. Because I have a life planner, that's where I list all of my doctor's appointments or extracurricular activities. All of that goes in my life planner. I am using the lesson planner strictly for school related things. And so you can see I've already started just listing each day the homework that I'm going to be having my son do. My daughter, who is actually only 3.5, will be doing the curriculum with us, but I'm going to modify her homework a bit, and we'll see how that works. She may pick it up and do just as well as her brother, but what I'm going to do is color coordinate in here. Right now my son is orange, and I'll probably do her homework in a different color just so that it's easy to see when I look at it quickly. And I will, if we're going to be on break or there's a day off coming up, I will notate that here, just kind of off to the side and small, but this is mainly going to be used for homework for us. So you have all of these months here. Well, I will show you at the end of each month, they also have, like this says, what's going on in September. So you have a huge spread for notes, and then you go back to notes before the next month. So that's kind of cool. So here's the end of my month planner part. There's July. And now we're getting into the lesson pages. Once again, another quote. These are all throughout the planner. And this tab says lessons. So first I'm going to show you what the pages look like before I started messing with it. This is what the lesson pages look like. There are 7 columns that are labeled subject, period, and time. And then there are 5 rows, Monday through Friday. And there's a place up here to list what week you are working through. So going back to where I have started. So it's pretty self-explanatory at this point. You know, I put, right now it's kind of scribbled because we were going to initially start homeschooling in August, but then we moved and we were unpacking in August. So we're starting in September. But, you know, I've labeled all of our lesson subjects at the top. History, and then we've got art, science, drama, and games that we rotate throughout the week. Bible study, music and movement, fine motor skills, reading, phonics, and story time, and math. We're actually using, the curriculum we're using is Heart of Dakota, and I will make a separate video about our curriculum. And then for each week, I just put down, you know, what we're going to be doing in each of those subjects. Off to the side, I actually had started writing supplies that I would need each day, but then I found, let's see if I can grab them here. I found these cute little sticky notes at Michael's in the clearance bin. Let's see if you can see that. There's actually, it's listed Monday through Sunday. I just cut off the Saturday and Sunday part, and then I stuck it in here. And so Monday through Friday, I've got listed what supplies we'll need. And so when it's time for the next week, I'll just pitch this part or just stick it in here and then get another one. This is actually stuck to the ruler that comes in the lesson planner. This is another super thick plastic part of the planner. The only issue I have with this ruler is that it's just a couple inches too short. I've still used it and it works fine. I just wish that it went all the way to the end of the planner. But it pops out and it pops right back in super easily. And so I've actually adhered our supply list to the ruler, and this ruler acts as a bookmark so that when it's time for the next week, I'll pull it out, put it in our next week, and then I'll put the supply list on it for that week. So there are, I'm not exactly sure, I haven't even counted, but 40 plus weeks of lesson plan pages, so plenty of room for you to get all of your lessons and everything in here. Okay, so to the very last section, this tab is checklist. And this is where it's set up for classroom teachers to put grades. You know, they would put their students' names, and then they would put all of the grades or the subjects here with, you know, whatever it is, a test or a quiz, and they could put their grades. I'm going to use it for my kids' grades because I want to be able to see how we're doing. I want to be able to look at the spread and say, okay, we have done really well in math maybe, but we're struggling in English, so we're going to need some extra help and extra work in those areas. And especially if my daughter picks it up really well, and I have two, you know, working at the kindergarten pace, this will help me to be able to see that. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to modify this part. I've seen quite a few people do different things, and I'm still trying to decide what I want to do. I had thought about putting instead of putting student name, I thought about putting subject name. And then so like if I had reading, I would put quiz, test, review, you know, label them kind of like that. And then as we hit them, do it that way. I've seen people where they will I haven't even used this I've seen people use this as a reading log, and I've seen people use this in a number of different ways. So I will probably make another video closer to halfway through the school year to show you how I've been doing with this planner, and that way you can see exactly how I have modified this part. But I definitely am going to use it for grades. I've just got to figure out how I want it laid out, how it'll work best for us. And there are quite a few pages for that. And there's a thing, I don't know if you can see it here, it says fold or cut along this line. And so that way, when you have filled up this whole spread, you can turn the page, but instead of starting, you know, rewriting all of that stuff on here, you can just fold over or cut and then paper clip these pages together. All right, so at the end of all the checklist pages, there is another quote, and then you have 4 pages of stickers. And so the first 2 pages have already been labeled, and there's school things like reminder, progress reports due, testing, computer lab, library. We won't use all of them, but we will definitely use some of them. And they're fun little colors. And then the last 2 pages are actually blank. When you order your planner from Erin Condren, you can actually order your own personalized stickers. I did not. When I ordered this planner, I ordered it as is. I didn't personalize it other than having my name added to the cover, which is free. But you can most definitely order personalized stickers. So after the stickers, you actually have this, you can see, fun little double pocket folder, and it's a pretty neat folder, so you're going to be able to fit a lot of things in here, and you're not going to have to worry about them falling out. Just a nice little idea that she added in there. Along with the folder, she's added this heavy-duty page protector. The lesson planners come with 1. You can add more to your planner if you needed more. But these are also, this is a very heavy-duty page protector, and so those will be nice to use for important papers that you want to keep and don't want to get messed up. And then it's my back cover, and that's the planner. Like I said, I love her stuff. I could probably spend quite a few hours going through her website, and probably quite a few, you know, dollars if I had that money to spend on all of her fun little accessories and things like that. But I am really excited about using this planner this year. If you look under the description of my video, I will link her website, and I will also actually link a coupon code in there for $10 off your first purchase. So, I mean, that's kind of nice. Straight out the gate, you get $10 off, and so that definitely helps lessen the you know, the guilt sometimes of paying that much for a planner. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.